Morning, nice and decent people. Rock on, come in. Welcome back to BBK Sports. Welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you. Wednesday, hump day. We're almost over the hump, people. We're almost over the hump till the week end fixtures. Massive, massive games, you know. And you know what the crazy thing is, right? There's only 26 days. So less than a month, we will be right back here. International break. Lull, begging for more football. But after that one, we have some daylight till we see some more football. Yeah. So that's calm. But the international break on top of international break is kind of a dud. It's kind of a buzz killer because the international fixtures haven't been great. It's been a bunch of friendlies, a whole bunch of teams already qualified, and the games that are being played, are completely one sided. We've seen like San Marino and that getting 7-0 in this, and 7-0. We beg for more goals. Those games are supposed to be entertaining, and then you watch them and you're like, "Oh Jesus, this is dead football." Watched England versus Latvia yesterday. It was just completely one-way traffic. The Portugal, the Portugal and the Hungary game was good. Not gonna lie, that wasn't a bad one. That wasn't a okay fixture. 2-2 in the end. Sabazlai of all people with the equalizer. Ronaldo still scoring goals at 40, breaking all kind of records. Big up to him. The ultimate stat patter. But that second goal that he scored was class. To be fair, that is vintage Ronaldo finish. But as we move from that into the weekend, and between now and the international break, there are some massive fixtures. I think there's a Classico. The Classico is like on October 26th or something. We got Liverpool, Man United at the weekend. Some massive Champions League fixtures. I think that Barcelona play. I don't know. Is there a Barcelona Chelsea? One of them. There's a massive games uh, between now and the next international break. So that leaves a lot of talking points for Arsenal as we sit at top of the table and say, "Hey, do you rather be the hunter or the hunted?" Because we've seen both, right? In the 2023 season, led the pack, being the hunter, being the hunted, got clawed back. Boom. Exploded in our face. Right? And the following season brought the title down to the next day. Last year, trying to hunt down Liverpool wasn't a hunt at all. Comfortably walked the league on our head tops. So I don't know what to make of this team. Like, if we came out starting the season properly, I could look at the team and be like, you know what? This team looks like they can hunt someone down. This team looks like they can maintain a healthy lead. But then, the way we set up at Liverpool, the way we set up against City, the way we left it late against Newcastle, I'm like, oh shit, man. I'm not sure if I could formulate any opinions about my team as of yet. And God knows I love my team, but I don't know what we are. Like, if I were to ask you, what is Arsenal's identity right now? Who are we? Right? We used to have an identity. Like, who are we right now? What is our style of play? What is Arteta ball? Are we a defensive team? Are we an open, honest, free-flowing football team where the game is going to be 2-1-3-2, 4-3? Are we that team? Or are we a defensive juggernaut where we're going to stink out 1-0s? I kind of lean more towards the side of that, Don't let Arsenal get up against you because we score a goal against you and it could be long. Is that what our identity has become? Is that what Arteta ball is? Don't let us score against you early because if we do, it's long. You already got some great defenders, and then we're going to sit back, give you the ball, and force you to play through us, which is very difficult to do. As reason being, we haven't conceded 3 goals in a Premier League game since 2023, I think. What's our identity? And does whatever we identify as, I know that's crazy to say in this times, whatever we identify as a football team, how do we identify? And whatever that is it sustainable? Is that how we are going to win a title? Don't know. I'm here to ask the questions, and I have a bunch of absolute legends in the pack to help me answer them. Big up to Bluebird. Bluebird said, hunted all day long. I can hear it. I mean, don't have a preference. I just don't know. because if you're the hunted, that would imply that you're ahead. So if you're okay with being ahead, as long as everyone is chasing you, you're in a good spot. But if you're always chasing, then you're not leading. However, when you are the hunted and you're always leading, one mistake and you're caught. You know, big up to man like Mateo, real bad man in the building.
Real bad man.
Big up to you, sir. Man has changed his logo to the FC Bayern. Says big up to the chat. Big up to Godfrey, absolute legend in the building. How goes the people says LFC Monster. Now I don't want to. I kind of want to gauge LFC Monster's level of nervousness or apprehension about this weekend's fixture, because I think every other Big Six team going into the weekend is kind of like, Chelsea got Forest. That's probably 3 points. And we'll take a look at the fixtures here for the Big Six teams, or the title contenders, so to speak, here in a second. But at the weekend, Chelsea got Forest. Newcastle got Brighton. That's not a guaranteed 3 points for either team. City got Everton. That's probably 3 points. Who else? But Liverpool got Man United. Is it guaranteed 3 points for Liverpool this weekend? It'll be very interesting to see, as I make my rounds against the panels, how the energy of the Liverpool fans are going into the weekend. Because is it going to be chess? Because I want chess. I want all the chess. Because if there is chess from the Liverpool faithful, and Man United turn up and do a madness, the fall and the tumble and the crash out will be of epic proportions. So I'm here for it. Hunter or hunted. It's whichever one. I don't know which one suits us, Lynch. I don't. Because Drew Brees, right, legendary American quarterback, after he won the Super Bowl in, I think, 2009, came out a couple years later, and it was a completely different experience. He had to reveal that when they were hunting a Super Bowl, the team was much more hungrier than trying to fight off 31 other teams. It was very difficult, right? And I guess that's where the distinction can be drawn. When you're the hunter, you're fighting against whoever's in front of you that week. When you're the hunted, you got 31 teams gunning for you. Or in the Premier League, 19 teams. You're being hunted by 19 teams, or 3-4 teams, whoever in the title race. It's a mad one. Mateo FCB, yeah, man, has changed the logo, but it's a free space, It's a free space, so we got love for everybody. But big up to Mateo. Big up to it's just a joke. I'm not serious. Just taking a piss out of me. Oh my days. Yeah, good one, man. It's harder to be the hunted. Like distance running, the winner rarely leads. Yeah, that's fair point. Fair point. Yeah, and it's like those marathons, right? 26.2, and then you come around and you look at 4 hours, or these fucking Kenyans, they run these races in like under 3.5. They got some ridiculous times. 2-3 hours of running, and then you get to that last 200 meters, and it's just a die-out sprint of will and power. Yeah, it's mad. After yesterday's excitement in the stream, and the equivalent of having a smoke after the D. Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. That I think if we say her name, she might pop up. If we say Sabby Pinky, she might just magically appear in the stream. I don't I don't know what her schedule. I know she's on the East Coast, right? On the East Coast right now, it's like 10:30. Most people are at work. So, but yesterday's stream was a little later in the day. She might have been home, laying in bed, dreaming of the Godfrey. Yeah, indeed. Teta feels possession-based, structured. Possession-based, structured, control, right? Those are all the words that they use to justify the type of football that we play, which is okay if you win, right? Because if that type of dead football doesn't win, then it becomes problematic, right? Because then your football team not only becomes hard to support, it becomes hard to watch. Because many times you heard people say the reason why Wenger was able to get away with not winning anything for so long is because the football was beautiful to watch. Right, that Norwich goal in 2014 will probably go down as one of the best team goals of all time. Team goals, right? That goal that Ozil scored against Ludogorets. They make animations of this stuff, bro. So the football was beautiful to watch. So that's why he was able to go in a 9-year drought and not win anything. But now we're not winning anything, and the football is terrible to watch. It can be problematic, and the manager has to answer for that. He does. But we go through the course of this season. I do expect the football to get better because when instinctive football is always beautiful, right? And you can from the sideline he can coach and he can yell out instructions, but throughout the course of a game, Eze is going to find himself on the ball, and there's going to be one defender in front of him and acres of space behind him, and he's not going to look over to Arteta. He's going to drop his shoulder and be like, "Oh, bro, get out of my way. I'm going past you." Ethan's going to do that. Max is going to do that. And if it leads to a goal, what can he do? He just got to sit down and shut up and hold it. And one thing we know about this Arsenal team, once they get going, right? Once they get going, 2-3 goals up on you, then the football becomes different. It becomes they look crisp on the ball. They look sharp. They look motivated. But when it's just a 1-0, it looks a little more controlled and structured, like you said. But once that second goal comes, all of a sudden they feel a little more comfortable with that cushion. And if that's the strategy, okay, I guess. Big up to man like AJ. My mod said, please like the stream if you haven't already. A little bit early in the stream, but I can do a quick like check. We had up to 13 watching at the beginning. Now we got 9 watching. We got 9 likes. I can work with that. I can fully work with that. I greatly appreciate it, people. Now, it seems to be a great purge going on YouTube. I don't know if you, man, have heard the other channels talk about it, but it's a real thing. So what month are we in? October. So around April, May, June, I would do streams. I would get 300-400 views easily. I would stream 300-400 views easily. Now it's halved. I don't know what happens. I don't know what's going on YouTube. And it's kind of like it's only happening. It's happening across the board, but it's not happening to all channels. Like the channels, the big boys are still doing big boy numbers, right? But it seems that channels that have between I want to say like 500 and like 3,000 subs, small to mid-sized channels are really struggling to get numbers, and they're calling it the Great Purge. Hopefully, I think it's meant to get some of them to quit. I don't know. Don't really care because it's not like I make any money from this, right? YouTube actually cost me money, right? This actually cost me money. StreamYard software is very expensive, but I really do enjoy talking football. And this is way cheaper than actually flying to London and watching them fuckers play. Okay, that's what I used to do between 2008 and 2016 every year, back and forth, watching these fuckers play. So, this was way more economical for me to get Arsenal therapy. 5%. Can I say neither? We don't do either well. Yeah, great. That's it, man. That is it. We do not do either well. If we had picked up a trophy doing one of them, that would have been the tiebreaker. Hey, we won playing this way. Even though we prefer this way, we won the trophy playing this way. So that's the way we're going to roll with. AJ say hunted because we definitely can't be the hunter. Yeah. And at the beginning of the season, I was more along the lines of we need to start the season strong and finish strong. Maintain, right? Wire to wire, end to end. Start strong, finish strong. So when we were 5 points behind, yes, I was losing my head. I said a slow start to the season and the Emirates can get very, very toxic. So match week 3, we're sitting on 6 points and just picked up a L at Anfield. Wasn't a good look. Then we dropped 2 more points, 5 points behind. Everyone's saying, hey, Liverpool hasn't clicked yet. It hasn't clicked yet. They're going to run away with it. And now that we're sitting on top of the table, it's easy to look at that differently, right? Hindsight is always 2020. Look through different lens. Because there was a world where we go into that weekend that we played Newcastle. Liverpool lost to Palace. Liverpool were the favorites. Liverpool were the favorites to win that game. Now, even though they had, on the run of play, they got lucky that the game was even close. But Liverpool were the favorites. And we were 1-0 down at Newcastle. And we were drawing the game in stoppage time. So it really, the world actually existed where we could have been 7-8 points after that weekend. Now, it went in our favor. And then we went on to capitalize on that again when they went and lost to Chelsea. But now let's see if we can capitalize again and put some daylight between us and them this weekend, should our beloved Man United friends do us a favor. Real bad man, that is Mateo. Big up, man. Arsenal haven't done well in being the hunted or the hunter, to be fair. Yeah. Can't argue that. Cannot argue that at all, man. Real bad man should be the name for Mateo. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, Anfield, 3 points. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone, says the assembled. Hope you are well, sir. Hey, AJ don't play. I'm telling you, AJ don't play, bro. AJ say, hey, fair warning, you need to make your choice in this community. I feel like they're going to lose you. I feel like they're going to lose so you can sense the LFC meltdown. So when I stream with the Liverpool fans, yeah? When I stream with the Liverpool fans, based on what they say and their energy, I will be able to detect whether or not they're nervous. Mm-hmm. The ones that I share a panel with. You know, I don't know. I'm going to have to ask LFC Monster for his explicit thoughts. Like, how do you feel, right? Because you really can't gauge the chest, you know, in the emotion in the text. But when you're on panel with these men and you're talking to them, you can feel the energy. So today, tomorrow, as the panel shows come back and get into predictions and previews, we will know the general consensus amongst the Liverpool faithful, how they feel about their team this weekend. Because the confidence, it's not a sure set 3 points. Now, if this was match week 6, right? If this was match week 6 and Liverpool were 5-5, and it was still 5-5, we haven't clicked yet. The chess I wouldn't even have to ask that question. The chess would be there. It would be, we're getting 3 points. We're getting 3 points against United. They're not getting their back-to-back wins at Anfield. It's not happening. That would be the narrative. But because it's not 5-5, but because it's 0-3, because it's versus 009, it's because Isak isn't firing for club or country, right? It's because Kirkez is getting skinned at left back. You know, and Mbeumo could get some change there. It's Frimpong hasn't kicked on. He's being benched for Szoboszlai. Yeah. And if he starts in the middle, if Szoboszlai starts in the middle of the park, which I expect him to, Cunha versus Frimpong, Cunha could get changed out of it. There are great matchups, right? There is going to be a game within the game. It is the marquee fixture of the weekend. Yeah, and I'm very, very vested in it. I'm very, very interested. Now, you know, we take it to Saturday, and we got our own set of problems at Craven Cottage. Before we get into Craven Cottage, you know, let me run through the comments so I don't get left behind. Yeah, Mateo, we know you're goofing around, bro. You know, we know we're goofing around. If Arteta's, oh Jesus, then I'm a star this one. So I'm a chill guy, to be honest, going to this game. Okay, chill. Okay, all right, I hear it. You know, yeah. But you know what? fair play. You are the better team. You're at home. Have the better players, better coach, defending champs. You know, you have 2 or 3 world class players in your squad. Yeah, so yeah, you shouldn't you shouldn't be panicky, but I just want to gauge the level of chest, so to speak. But you are the better team. I'm gonna tell you at that point, I would completely understand. At the edge of 6.5 years of this terrorism has slapped us with another 7 years of Arteta ball. I'm done. Yeah, and there's extensions should be 3 years max at this level. You know, a 7-year extension. I don't even think City are giving Pep that at this point. You know, I don't think when Arne Slot contract runs out or whenever it's time for him to renew it, he's going to get a 7-year deal at Liverpool, and he's won a Premier League. So how is man meant to be getting a 6-7 year extension off the back of one FA Cup? And the thing is, when we talk about the FA Cup, that was the 8th place finish, right? Because Top Gooners like to talk about, hey, the challenges, the title challenges, the second. So if we're gonna go on that line of thought with them and say, hey, we're only going by the title charges, okay, you know that doesn't include the FA Cup. But they like to throw the FA Cup in there when you say that Arteta hasn't won shit. But take it out when you're talking about the title charge. So which is it? Let's keep the energy consistent here, please. Please and thanks. Overboard. Marina will be starting our next game after scoring for Spain again. Woo! So they assembled. When we talk football, right? When we talk football and we talk about Premier League competition, like the Premier League campaign, and we talk about how different it is than a UCL campaign. This team, we've seen teams have shit domestic form, terrible domestic performances, and go kill in Europe. Our beloved Arsenal, perfect example. Last year, off the back of a stinky performance, 0-0 Forest away. Remember that. Then we proceeded to go to PSV Eindhoven and scored the most goals in a knockout round in an away game ever. So we went from a dead performance in one competition to a record performance in another competition. The point that I'm making is night and day, one competition versus the other, right? So what I don't understand is that how we can comprehend that football is different from Premier League to Champions League, but we like to liken, or they like to liken, international football to club football. And what he does for Spain could not be more irrelevant. It couldn't be. International football doesn't even belong in the same galaxy with club football. It doesn't. It does not. Only the because international football have certain restrictions, right? Have to be a citizen of that country, have some kind of ties to that country sanctioned by FIFA. Club football, do you have the money to buy the player? So you have better players across the pitch at club football level. What he's doing for Spain versus these countries that don't have the resources and the academy and the football infrastructure as the Spanish Federation does, as the German Federation does, it's completely irrelevant. I don't understand this. Arteta has unlocked him for Spain. Arteta has done this. Arteta has done that. Completely night and day. But they just keep running that craziness. Again, if Arteta signed that deal, I'm only watching the ladies. Yeah, that deal could really, really upset the fan base, especially if they announce that or that signs before the season is over, or that is signed before major trophies are at the Emirates. And I'm saying major trophies for that one. I'm not even talking about major trophies to shut me up at the end of the season, but for him to get an extension, any form of extension, yeah, we need to be talking Prem and champs. I'm sorry. Arteta contract was great news to hear. I bet the rivals love him, The rivals love him. The same way everyone here when we're rejoicing and doing backflips when we heard Sir Jim come out in a podcast and say, we're giving Ruben 3 more years. That man, that's what men want to hear. That 3 more years of that. Oh, hell yeah, sign him up. And that's the power of one win. That's the power of 3 points, 3 points. Because had they not beaten Sunderland, that podcast doesn't either get recorded or released. That was a pre-record. It gets shelved and does not get released. So 3 points at home against Sunderland, which you should win, has emboldened the ownership at United to say we're giving this man 3 more years. That's how fickle, and unstable and volatile the football landscape is. Strong words, man. Strong words. 23 children, 22 baby mother. Real bad man. Big up to Kwaja. Hope you're good, bro. Hope school is going well. Big up to Mark Kabongo. Said, big up BBK. What you think of people just watching their teams but not football in general? I can't stand this because they think their teams but the standard of the game. Yeah, so one of the things is, and most of my friends, family are United fans. A large number of them are Liverpool fans as well, right? Younger generation, Chelsea and that. And most of the United fans in the family, they don't watch any other team but United. All they watch is United, right? And they'll tell you, I don't watch this team, I don't watch that team, which is fine. However, the only problem I have with that is they claim they only watch their team and their players. They only claim to watch their team, but have an opinion on every other player. So we're talking about another team, and then you try to do a combined 11 or a comparison with another team, and they have the most to say about the players that they claim they don't watch. So what I draw from that is, one, you're full of shit, or you're tribalistic to the point where you can't be objective. That every player who plays or signs for your team is great, and everyone else is shit. No. And we do it too. Arsenal fans do it too. But I've never been the type to say I only watch my team. If football is on, I'm watching it. Now, if your team is on when my team is playing, obviously I'm not gonna watch that shit. I'm gonna watch my team. But there's a reason. Like, I could call this damn channel Tyrant Arsenal. Tehran AFC. But it's BBK Sports because it's just, I'm a sports nut. I'm a sports fanatic. Yeah, so I usually say just be very careful when you having conversations on a deep level with people who don't watch other teams or people who don't watch football holistically. Kind of like you can't have a serious conversation about world events with someone who's never traveled. Like, have you ever spoken to an American about world issues, but they've never left Mississippi or they've never left New York? They've never left their tiny little neighborhood, but they have an opinion on everything that goes on in the world. It can be jarring, So some people are not well traveled in football and in life. Avoid those people. I can completely be honest. My biggest fear, he throws Brighton in the bin or season fall off a cliff. I do think if we lose to Brighton, it could be a catalyst to something bad. I'm not gonna lie, because then the PTSD sets in and he might even get even more cowardly, and then you're gonna see even more draws football, like Kwaja usually calls it. So yeah, I completely agree. That game 3 weeks from now, absolutely critical. Big up to James Bond in the building. Manners and respect to you, brother. Manners and respect every single time. I hope Ethan gets a chance, but Legahead does stupid things. He will play against Brighton. I think he will. The Brighton game will actually suit Ethan, right? Because Brighton play open, honest, expansive football, and there will be space there for Ethan to run into. So I hope he takes the shackles off. I actually think Ethan gets jokes minutes against Fulham. If the game is won comfortably, if the game is tight and we're leading, no, he won't play. If we're chasing the game and he's panicking and throwing everything at the kitchen sink, then he might play. But if the game is close or we're winning, if the game is close 2-1, you won't see Ethan. If it's a 1-0, you won't see Ethan. If we're down 1-0, you might see Ethan. If we're up 3-4-0, you might see either in a close game, he's not touching pitch. And by that I mean on around the 87th minute. I agree with this, but only if we're chasing the game. That's what I believe. He wants to keep digging, but the silver is what he will find. Yeah, But that's the thing. Silver in a cup competition, at least you get a medal. You get to the Champions League final, at least you get a runner-up medal. And then the Premier League silver is a round of applause for him at the Emirates. Not even silver. Thanks. With the YouTube thing you brought up, there's a restricted mode that when it's off, you see all videos. If it's on the AI will hide those videos. That might be the answer. I don't know, man. I think I go through my settings on a daily, but it's not that deep for me still, really, because like I said, I don't make money off YouTube. It's the views are all over the place, but my watch hours are fine. Because back in the day, back when I used to get those 300-400 views, the watch hours used to be, like 20, 22 watch hours. But even now, when the views are lower, the watch hours are actually higher because the people who actually come stay and watch versus the people who the video will go click out to them and they'll look at it for 30 seconds and move on. But yeah, that's a great point still. Watch the Man United do us a favor and then watch us the full. The PTSD is real, 7-year extension wants to be unheard of. It's insane. 7 years, 3 years max, and that should only be incentivized if you're winning. Like no trophies, no extension. Right? That should be the theme. That should be the chant. Like the Palace game. If this story starts to grow legs about Arteta getting an extension, the very few out of the 60,000 will say maybe 6,000 of those fans in there will have some damn sense and say no trophies, no extension. No trophies, no extension. I don't give a damn if you go to the Champions League final, the EFL Cup final, the FA Cup final, and lose all three of them and come second. Take the Premier League title down to the last day like we did in 23-24. Don't care. You lose all of them, no trophy, no extension. It's that black and white for me. Big up to me though in the building. Hope you're good, bro. If they only count seconds, Arteta has 2 trophies from a possible 12. There's 0 trophies from a possible 12. But they do that though. They do that when they're talking about. They tried to divide his tenure at the club into 2. This you would think when you're talking to some of them that this man started coaching the club in 22-23, and he just took over and we immediately started challenging for the league. They completely leave out the 8th place finish in 21-22. No Europe. Took us completely out of Europe. They leave that out. And then they completely leave out the next year when it was a 5th place finish, when we started the league at the bottom of the table. No goals scored, 9 conceded, 0 for 9 going into the international break. They leave that part out. But when the conversation gets uncomfortable, they throw in the FA Cup. You will notice that when you discuss football. It might be trolls, but Arsenal's been so stupid, I wouldn't be shocked. Big up to Hendo. Hope you're good, bro. Manners and respect. Love. Scroll down here. Skip a couple of the daps and see if I can get caught up. Lynn says his only trophy with the team he didn't build because of a striker he did not like. Jesus. Truer words have never been said. Oddly. But now we have a striker, right? And we're not sure he likes this one. So if the formula is give him a striker he does not like and he wins something, cool. But, the ego in him, when he wins it, we'll say this is how I wanted to do it all along. But, we won't care because we love the club and we love trophies more than we care about Arteta. Big up to Vigilante. Hope you are good, bro. If Arsenal do give Arteta such a contract, then the club is dead. As if we needed more ammunition for rivals and football fans in general to banter us. Like we're just doing it to ourselves, Like, yeah, Arsenal, a new contract for a serial second place finisher, and one FA Cup that his fans don't even like to mention unless it suits the argument. Mad, mad. And I'm trying to reach Ninja Man's level and have more children and more baby mamas than 22, 23. I want to reach 50 by 49. Hey man, hey, you moved to Jamaica, man. You just might hit your numbers, my bro. With all due respect, you're the one with the sense if that one. You're the one with the sense if that's true. You go check it out for yourself. Ignore Darren, ignore G Wills and Sheldon, and go check it out for yourself. Yeah, big up to you, man. Appreciate you checking in while you're on, Chef, my bro. Make sure you're good. Make sure you. I'm good. Great show last night. Hope you'll be beating up with those Jamaican ladies from last night. Hey, I think when Mateo saw that live and pops in, like he thinks they're gonna be here, but they'll be here. They'll be here. If not this stream, definitely the next one. Extension. Oh well, my interest in football is over. They'll make him sign that during January, meaning no new signings, even if their leading injuries will make us lose the title. Yeah, that's a great point, you know. And the thing is, we look at the Trossard bumper contract, we look at the Raya bumper contract. Now an extension reportedly, money is there. So come January, you've all heard me say that I think at some point this season, the fact that we didn't sign a left winger will rear its head. So the money that we do in all this extension and these bumper paid contracts should be deaded, and we should prioritize a left winger. How bad do we want to win a title? You know, how bad do we want it? The transfer window was good in parts, but the fact that we left it to the 11th hour and allowed Eze to agree personal terms with Tottenham is worrying in of itself. You know, so the window is shut, and then we're like, hey, as long as we get the players, then why do you care? I do care because we've been told that the reason why he didn't start at Anfield is because he didn't have a training session. Well, if we took him to Singapore with us, he would have had all those training sessions and he would have started at Anfield, and we probably would have got something out of that game. But when I was complaining about that in the summer, it was just, hey man, shut up and get behind the team. And as long as we get them in before the window closes, it doesn't matter. Well, clearly it does matter because he was on the bench because didn't train. But, you know, you can't make this up. I have all the receipts. To hold these men accountable for the lies that they tried to tell and tried to peddle. They go to Mahmoud AJ again, man. And then Lord's work. If I was to go on your page and put in restricted mode, it will restriction mode on. It will most probably hide yesterday's stream due to some of it is 18 plus content. It's a big thing that's been discovered by a lot of content creators. Okay, fair. I'm gonna look into that LFC monster. But you know, it's one of them ones that YouTube is just weird, and I think that's why a lot of people had left YouTube and went to Twitch and like during lockdown, because YouTube is weird like that. But you know, they make me choose: is this for kids? Is it not for kids? As a pre-default setting, or I can change it as I go. And I have it pre-default that none of my content is for kids because I never know when an F-bomb is gonna slip out. And yeah, yesterday's porno in the chat kind of make me want to keep it that way. Don't you think that Gyökeres should hold Ben sometimes and try to put Martinelli as a 9? He scored with Brazil last game as a striker. That would require Arteta to do more tactical tweaks that I don't trust that he's capable of doing. I think Gyökeres should hold bench, definitely if he's not scoring. Like, he can't go another 6 games scoreless, especially when Kai Havertz is touching grass. But I kind of wish that the depth chart for a striker was Gyökeres and Ivan Toney versus Gyökeres and Havertz. And Havertz, I happily say this over and over again, I think he was our most pointless signing. It was the guy that we paid too much for that we didn't need. But we were trying to bridge the gap on Man City. Whoever thought that he was the guy that was going to close the gap on them lot when they had Haaland scoring damn near 50 goals a season, to a guy who scored 18 goals in 3 years at Chelsea. Got 18 goals a season, 18 goals total his entire time at Chelsea. Someone made that decision. And on top of that, compounded it by making him the highest paid player at the club before he kicked the ball for us. Like, these decisions are criminal. Victor Gyökeres needs to keep playing, in my opinion. But we all know he goes on another 4 or 5 games. He's going to hold bench. You know, he is. We have to call it what it is. He is not Arteta's favorite. The reason why Havertz was able to get a run of games like that because Arteta likes him the same way he likes Odegaard. He gets a run of form regardless. Same way he likes Saka, who gets to play regardless. If he can walk, he plays. Big up to Lynch, man. Big up to Jagans in the building. Manners and respect to you. Majay. Mark, it would be Gabriel Martinelli anyway. It wouldn't be Mikel Moreno 9. I really like Martinelli as an impact sub. That's it. I think that's where his impact is best. I think he could do well in another system in like a wingback role. But in tight spaces where your touch needs to be clean and you can get behind you, he's just not that guy. Like when a footballer shows you who they are, you just kind of have to believe and accept that this is their level. You know, I know my limitations when I played. You know, and I just used to try my best not to get in situations where I tried my best not to get in situations where I knew I was gonna be in trouble. Right. So if you know that you are slow, if you're a center back and you are not blessed with speed, you try your best not to put yourself in a position where you're chasing. Right? So your positioning will become so important and there are drills and schemes that you work on to hide your weaknesses. I see that the consensus is YouTube is run by AI now. Yeah, I read an article the other day where YouTube was hiring content creators to they were hiring engineers to build AI content, right? Faceless content or something like that, you know, whatever it is, yeah, not for children, 100%, you know. I know some people be listening to in their cars with their kids sometimes. So sometimes I try to refrain from cursing. One of the reasons why I don't do watch-alongs, because when I curse the most is usually when the game is on. You know, and I don't want the world to see me like that. I'm not ready for that yet, right? Because there are people who see me in these spaces right here behind me in the most extreme of situations. And I never panicked, never yelled, nothing. So they will look at me and be like, how is Chief this calm in life and death situations, right? But he's going to let 11 blokes that he's never met make him act that way. They'll be like, who is that guy? We don't know him. Again, Saudi wants Jesus, so use him and money for Ivan Toney, please and thank you. Yeah, I think Ivan Toney would just... You talk about a striker who can score all kinds of goals with a clean touch. You know, and he would come to Arsenal. I absolutely believe he would come to Arsenal. Arsenal are finding ways to spend money on everything but the things that matter, i.e. the right players, building excuses for failure while you're feeling good as a fan, sugar with lemons. Yeah, that's 100%. No more bumper contracts, please. You can't be giving out bumper contracts and then tell us that we don't have any money to buy this guy, right? That's kind of like having that friend that owes you money and then they commit to some money and you see them in Ibiza. You're like, bro, you owe me $3,000 and you came into 5, and instead of paying me back, you book a vacation to Mallorca, bro. Like, you're in Montego Bay, you're in Cancun, you're everywhere, but they're giving me my damn money back. Bumper contract. Nah, trust us, you are under contract and you are already here at the club. And the wages match your output because you haven't been pulling up trees here, right? So if there's anyone that should deserve a bumper contract based on last year's play, who is it? Who overperformed last year? I'm inclined to say Gabriel, but then he got injured. But he was already, right? And then you got Declan. Declan's already on like 240, so he damn sure don't need a bumper pay. Only overperformers should get a bumper contract. And what metric? What KPI did Trossard hit to get a bumper contract? Okay, I can hear the Raya one, even though I'm not a big fan of Raya because I think he does craziness on the ball sometimes. But two-time Golden Glove winner, your agent can renegotiate your contract. I hear that from a business standpoint. But as a fan, I really don't give a shit. Sell Martinelli and Trossard in January, then get Semenyo, and I think Liverpool actually realized, oh shit, this is a war. Yeah, they look at our left side and they'll be like, that's the weak link in Arsenal's armor. Yeah, that's the chink. Skynet is coming. I had the discussion with my colleague and I asked him who's a better footballer between Rice and Ramsey. For me, it's Ramsey. 100% what you think. Bro, these modern day guys can't lace Ramsey's boots, bro. In those tight spaces that we talk about, Ramsey was so good on the ball. Now, Declan is better at breaking up play and stuff like that. That's why I think he would prefer being a cleanup man in the 6. But imagine Ramsey, a fit Rambo in this team in that left 8. Oh, shit. We're scoring 95 goals this year. I actually had not an argument, but he was arguing with the chat, but I shut it down. We're talking to Gunner Street, another content creator, lean more on the positive side. But I don't think he was old enough to see Rambo play. But he was like, Odegaard is better than him. I'm like, bro, Odegaard cannot lace Rambo's boots. That man scored us trophy-winning goals. AJ Mons, he assembled, bigging up everyone, man. Big up. Yeah, bro, owe me $3 grand. Hey, bro, you've seen that. Owes you money. Come into some money. Go to the casino and hit. And instead of paying you back, because you got him out of a jam, you saved man from being evicted, kept lights on, put food on table. And because you're doing well or you're doing okay, they assume that you don't need your money back. You're like, bro, what are we doing? It's happened to me. Not gonna go in your comment section or in your reel and be like, bro, what's up with that? Nah. But we've had family members and friends do shit like that, brother. It's crazy. Semenyo would be a game changer. I think he would balance out our attack. Because one thing we all agree that over the past couple of years, 23, 24, and last year before Saka got injured, our attack was lopsided. Everything went down the right in that 23-24 season. That Saka, Ben White, Odegaard triangle. That's all we had. Nothing came off the left. I'm actually surprised that more teams didn't work us out. That's actually something I'll give Arteta credit for. Our attack was one-sided, one-dimensional, and we still got 91 goals out of it. Maybe that's an indictment on the rest of the league. Lynch agrees with the assembled. I was saying in your stream at the time, Victor Gyökeres and Eze needed a full preseason, but no, yeah, I remember, bro. As long as he get in before the window closes, it doesn't. Okay, no. There are so many layers on why that statement was annoying me, because the domino effect is a real thing, right? So, for example, if you are a Rodrigo or if you're a big name player, and the transfer window opens and you see Arsenal sign players like Semenyo, like Eze, all of a sudden you're like, well, I didn't think about going to Arsenal, but the way they're moving now, I'm gonna go over there. But when the window opens and you see man signing Norgard and Kepa, you'll be like, oh no, it's the same old Arsenal. Still got over 2 months before Jen comes around. Might too late to bring Semenyo into a war by then. I think if Liverpool, and the article that I read yesterday said Liverpool are the front runners. Big up to Darren, manners and respect, brother. The article that I did read yesterday actually said Liverpool are the front runners to sign Semenyo in January, by the way, not the summer, in January. Then the article goes on to give you the generic stuff. Chelsea, Arsenal remain interested. Okay, cool. But I think if Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, always got to put Chelsea because they don't scout. They just watch what everyone else does. I really believe if those three teams put 80 million pounds on the table, Semenyo will move. because I don't think Bournemouth are in threat of relegation still. I think they're trusting their scouting at this point, because we've seen them lose Kirkes, Hoysen, and they look better. Right? They lost what was rated one of the best left backs in the league last year, one of the best center backs. Lost both of them. Right? The year before that, they lost their striker in Solanke to Tottenham, and they look better. Evan Nielsen was playing for Porto, didn't look great. Now he looks like a world beater in a difficult league. So he was able to make the step from the Portuguese La Liga to the Premier League and looks better with the Premier League tax. And Gyökeres comes from the Portuguese league to the Premier League and hasn't kicked on like we thought he would. What's the difference? The coach. Everyone who watches football rates Iraola highly as a good tactician. And the transition from Evan Nielsen to the Premier League has been seamless under him. You know, man got Kluivert looking like his pops. You know, even the American kid is banging in this Bournemouth team. But I do think if they drop 80 million on the table, ask the question. I think Semenyo will move. Ramsey, especially before the broken leg, he was unplayable, bro. Completely unplayable. Jagars, I would have done that in the summer, the moment Rodrigo talks about. Now I'm seeing Rodrigo and Endrick starting to sulk about they're actually worried that they might not make the World Cup squad. I'm like, bro, ain't nobody feeling sorry for you, my bro. 17 watch. Hey, big up, man. 17 likes. Can we get to 20? Any other silent listeners? Go ahead and please hit the like. Please and thanks. Rand showed a video of a 19-year-old saying Bellingham is already better than Beckham. Madrid comparison. And Bex was trash. These new fans, man. If football precedes them, they don't want to hear anything that came before it. Because, you know, I was talking to a younger fan one time that it was diehard Messi, right? Messi, every color Messi tattoos. And I knew the statement would trigger that fan. So I said this, and I actually believe it. When they were saying Messi was the GOAT. Now, I love Messi. I think Messi is that dude. But then I knew this statement would trigger that fan. So I said to him, bro, Messi is not the GOAT. He said, why is he not the GOAT? I said, Messi isn't even the best Argentine. I knew that would trigger the shit out of him. And then he almost went into an anaphylactic shock. Like, he's not even, that's the logic I'm using. You can't be the GOAT if you're not even the best that came out your country. Because I was doing tit for tat, pro versus con versus him and Ronaldo. Because I could actually say, hey, Ronaldo is the best to come out of Portugal. Messi is not the best that come out of Argentina. But he had never heard of Diego Maradona. And that was the statement that I used to trigger him. Yeah. Because I can make that argument. It's debatable, but I can make that argument. That the pitches that Maradona had to play on and the skill set that he had and the players that he had to play with, I think he, as a footballer, right, his warm-up routine was a spectacle. If he played in modern times, he would be unplayable on these pretty pitches and all the protections that players get in modern day. But because they didn't see him, he must be shit. Now, I didn't see Pele, but I'm not going to disrespect him. You know what I mean? So I hear I would give anything. How is Jude extremely overrated? Jude is the extremely overrated player I've ever seen. He is overrated. I did make a case to go watch him when I lived in Germany. Like I went to Signal Iduna Park quite a few times. Like I want to see this guy in the flesh to see if he's the real deal. And to be fair, every time that I went and saw him, he was the real deal. But I think when you say someone is overrated, people just automatically thinking you're saying that they're bad. But nah. One big point he made as to why Bellingham was already scored more in Madrid than Beckham ever did. Yeah. I mean, pretty soon they're going to be saying that he is better than Zizou, man. Oh, he's the best number 5 Real Madrid has ever had. I'm like, nah, brother. You need to be a student of the game to truly be able to speak football. You know. Semenyo, the man. I think when I heard that man were being linked with Rodrigo over the summer on top of Isaac, I'm not sure if Ekitike was in the fold, but I think Diogo was still with us at the time. I was like, shit, this could be scary, you know. This could be actually scary with Salah, Rodrigo, and Isaac, with Diego Jota floating left, right, in and out of that team. Could be long. I'm kind of glad that Rodrigo didn't go to Liverpool either, to be fair. Question: if this manager knew what he was doing, why does the goals mainly come down the right? Wenger team's goals were being scored from the right, left, and center, long, short range balance, in my opinion. Our goals mainly come down the right because I think Saka is the only winger that he trusts in the attack. I think Martinelli is on the pitch for his defensive work. He knows that Saka shields the ball very, very well. And when you get into that corner, no matter how well spaced the defenders are, if you shield the ball well, and like we say in the NFL, there is no defense for the perfect pass. You can be in the right position, if the pass is perfect, it will work. Right distance, the right weight, no defense for it. Absolutely none. Simple question: if Messi get the second World Cup, does that make him better than Diego Maradona? Honestly, I don't know. See, and that's where the conversation gets tricky, because then it becomes an accomplishment contest. When we talk about the best player, the accomplishments surely they do matter, but just on pure football skill. That's why most people say Messi is better than Ronaldo on the pure football. Because if it's on medals and stats, Ronaldo's stats are just ridiculous. But as a player, it's pure football. Diogo Maradona was, brother. He was levels, bro. yes, Messi is. Sorry to say, that's fair. I'm not here to change your mind about it. Like I said, I think Messi is that guy. But there were people who used to watch Diego. Say, hey, brother, this guy, he was different. He was absolutely different. Batistuta, Gabriel Batistuta, the long hair don't care. Yeah, he actually kind of looked like Lips profile picture. I don't know if he had dark hair, but I know he used to wear his hair long. Ortega was a baller too, Ortega was different. Messi is the goal of my lifetime, but I can never say overall goal because I never seen Diego, Pele, and Cruyff. Yeah. Diego was different, bro. He was different gravy. Ronaldo above Subway. Bro. Ronaldo, and that's the thing. People talk about Messi or Ronaldo, and the real Ronaldo, that's my goal. Well, that's the best player that these eyes have ever seen play. Best player. None of that. The best person on a football pitch I've ever seen play was that guy. Martinelli is a striker. Saka is the fullback. Martinelli is a defensive winger. That's what he is in our system. Carlo might get some strike force out of him, but out wide, I think his football IQ is just very, very low. And if you look at just how many times he's offsides as a winger, as a wide player, and you look like, bro, as a wide player, there's never an excuse for you to be offsides when you're out wide and you can see the line. If he's offside that much playing out wide, imagine him with his back to goal. It'll probably be even more easy to defend against then. Now that's something that you can work on, right? You can coach that, but let's not use Martinelli's international form or the goals that he scored against Athletic Club or City cloud our judgment to the point where we're forgetting the past 2 seasons. right? Because I'm seeing that with Odegaard. You know, people are actually coming into the spaces saying, where is the apologies for Odegaard? And we're like, bro, okay, so a cameo against Newcastle and a good performance against Olympiacos, and we're just meant to forget 2 years of poor form. Those conversations are very childish, to say it nicely. AJ says the assembled. I fully agree with that on Gabriel Martinelli. As for me, no, Saka played left wing and right wing in the youth only. Played left back to get into the first team. Shout out to Unai. Dare I say that Neymar had more natural talent than CR7? He just didn't have the discipline to use it. No, that's a fair statement. Yeah, natural talent. Neymar was just out of this world. CR7 just knows, listen, I'm going to run faster than you. I'm going to jump higher than you, and I'm going to outwork you. His discipline is Michael Jordan-esque. You know, win at all costs. Yesterday, I actually said that boy would rather score a hat trick and they lose the game 4-3 than they win the game 1-0 and he doesn't score if it's an own goal off the opposing player. That's how hungry and thirsty he is for goals. And that's translated itself into greatness. Absolute greatness. I do think that the people who love Messi like I do, I think some of them actually take it too far with the Ronaldo disrespect. You know? Because like it or not, the boy did it in 3 leagues. You know, very at the highest level. Romario, Van Basten, R9. Romario at 60 years old. You see those clips of this man at 60 years old, still just has master control of the ball. Oh my days. As for R9, no injuries. I think he would be right at 3rd greatest of all time in most people's list. He's number 1 for me, man. That guy was just the phenomenon. Absolute genius of. And you've heard there's a clip of Ruud van Nistelrooy. Remember that goal that Ruud scored against Fulham? And he said that was probably the highlight of my career. R9 does that in training like it's nothing. Effortless. Van Basten, greatest football. Fair. These are the names that we should be talking about at the big boy conversation. You know, I'm here for it. That real talk, but when men act like we don't know Odegaard is a baller, don't apologize, but give the guy a break. He's our guy at the end of the day. Yeah. But it kind of makes you wonder what our man on. Like, bro, what are you on? It's kind of like when a striker goes 20 games without scoring, right? And then scores a tap in, or the ball hits him and goes into the net, then he runs around the pitch doing this. Cuff in his ear. You're like, oh, so you were meant to give us 20 games of shit and we weren't supposed to boo or say anything and just ignore that. You know, in elite sport, you know, he's the ideal footballer. He has everything even higher. His work rate, man. I think his work rate and his discipline was just his biggest attributes. Like he's a machine. Did you see Hazard filling out that Chelsea top against Liverpool at the weekend? Costa Skirtle renewed the rivalry thought the game too. Now I didn't see that. I have to check that out. Once I saw Ronaldinho, he was my favorite player outside of Liverpool players at the time. Yeah, so what he did was he brought street football to the professional ranks. Right? He was on some just FIFA shit. You know what I'm saying? Man brought FIFA to the Champions League. You know, he should be like one of the official ambassadors of FIFA. They should give him like a royalty check every month. The amount of eyeballs, the amount of people who watch football because of him, right? The amount of people who fell back in love with this sport because of him. Especially new age casual fans who were turning away when Cannavaro was winning Ballon d'Ors and stuff, and it was like, oh, the game is dead when defenders just start winning it. And then this guy just, you know, I think that summer of 2003 completely transformed the footballing landscape. You know, when he went from PSG to Barca, CR7 that summer, mad one. Sheldon, he not good enough and thought he'd fit to lace Aaron Ramsey's boots with the same Santi. Odegaard could never captain Hull City. That Hull City comeback. Man, Santi, another top baller that's grossly underrated. The only player that made me stand up in my front room, Ronaldinho. Yeah. So the thing with Ronaldinho, right, is you would see him in a situation and be like, all right, the ball is about to go out for a throw, or he can't get out of this. Then you hear the commentator's voice get loud. You're like, what? You couldn't take your eyes off the screen. You know, the only guy that I see put prime Sergio Ramos on his ass and humbled him. You know, AJ, that's what I'm talking about. He's not good enough, but y'all talk about him like he's crap. Class is permanent, form is temporary. Yeah, cliche, but there were many big games where I watch Odegaard and then you hone into your captain, and I'm expecting a big performance. I think when you watch Arsenal as long as I have, right, and you know you've seen Tony and you've seen Patrick in big games, and then you see Odegaard in these same big games, and you're like, shit. You know, you see us go to the City ground in the first failed title charge, and he makes that suicide back pass that lost us the. You know, like people forget that Man City, we gave City the league. They won the league while we were playing. When we lost 1-0 at the City ground in the first failed title charge, that suicide back pass from our captain. You know, he has won 46 trophies, the first player to do so. He could win 50 in total, 4 away from 50. I did watch him last night against Puerto Rico. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see Argentina against Puerto Rico? Now, even though it's a friendly, normally in a friendly when man score, they'll have some type of enthusiasm. The way the men were passing the ball into the net, they were like, why are we even out here? It was a training session. That man turned Puerto Rico into a damn, you know, like you got the A team, B team, and C team. Yeah, go get the C team so we can train with them. And then we'll dress it up. We'll dress it up in the form of a friendly. But that was absolute criminal. I don't know what Puerto Rico was thinking, but yeah, it's a bad one. Oh my God, what is Dal? This guy, man. Listen, Dal just gifted the entire YouTube space memberships. Oh my God, what a guy. Oh man, one more round of applause. Come on, Dal. You're too kind, man. You're far too kind, my bro. Hey, Dal. Send me a message, man. Send me a message. We need to talk, my guy. But big up to you, man. Every single time. I can't see him winning 4 more. Yeah, I'll be in there. I don't know what Argentina's odds are for the World Cup. I don't think they're favorites to win that. But they could. MLS. Yeah, those trophies don't hold a whole lot of weight, but they're trophies nonetheless, you know. He was the last of expressive football. Now it's business. Yeah. Another one of the reasons why I hate Dunga. I think Dunga robbed football when he left Ronaldinho of the World Cup squad for Brazil because he was a little bitch. Sorry if you have your kids in the car and heard that. But he was a little bitch. Like the world wanted to see Ronaldinho at the World Cup. He was 30 years old. Like he wasn't fucking, he wasn't an old man in 2010. He was 30 years old and could have played. They left him off the World Cup squad. Pissed me off, man. I remember Patrick Vieira, all Arsenal captain, will get held to that standards for me. Patrick was levels, bro. I don't expect nothing from Odegaard. He failed to hold his own many times, but I'm going to start an agenda against him. I'm assuming you say you're not going to start an agenda against them. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have an agenda against them. We really just, hey, you're the captain. You will be held to a higher standard, our commander holds me. I'm a CW4, holds me to a higher standard than the W1s and the W2s. They come to me for help. What made Arteta make Odegaard captain? Wonder Kid, he captained Norway and the players voted for him. That's what he said. Yeah, teacher spet. Big up to Dow, man. Love, bro. You're an absolute legend of a guy. Um, yeah, teacher spet. Now, when you put something to a vote and everyone voted for him to be captain, that means they like him. That's all that means. Hey, we like you. And if you're gonna let us have ice cream for breakfast, we like you. It's cool. But you don't want your captain to be liked. You want your captain to be respected. I guarantee you, a lot of those United players did not like Roy Keane, the way he went about his business. You know, but they respected him as a captain. And at the end of their careers, they can go into their basements and pick up all those medals. You know, and look at him and be like, you know what? I didn't like him, but I understand. Please, people, go ahead and give Dallas sub, especially if you got a membership. Go ahead and give Dallas sub, man. Absolute legend. We'll get a show on there. I will make time, my brother. I will make time. If I have to cancel one of my morning shows, so be it. But I will make time. Big up to Gunner for life. Manners and respect every single time. Yeah, you did, man. You did. I just saw that too. So big up to Lynch. yeah. So once I get to I was trying to get to 1,800 subs, and I'm gonna start doing members only shows, but I might have to schedule one next week, just to chat members, and hopefully, I think Sabby is a member as well, so maybe Sabby and Mateo can formally meet backstage. Oh man, big up to you, bro. LFC Monster, he is off for country. He level-headed and understand football. When he joined, he was the only credible one. He wouldn't be first choice now. Now, like the thing with Odegaard is, in the capacity that Odegaard is operating now, I actually like it. Because I've said this on my channel, I've said this on other platforms. When the creative burden is not only on his shoulders, he bangs. If you play him in a left 8 and Eze in the 10, Zubimendi or Declan in that DM role, the team will actually cook. Just look at him when he came on against Newcastle. All the space he had in that midfield. He doesn't get that space when he's the only creative player on the pitch. But he's going to get that space when Eze is out there. Because they have to pay attention to Eze. Hindsight seems the main reason why. Now, there's some valid reasons. That was like Zico and Romario. Brazil would have the 98 World Cup if he was there. Facts. Now, I did think that 98 French team was top notch, but yeah, I think that if he was there, because they got to the final, right? They got to the final without him. But yeah, Mario is that guy, man. But that French squad was, Zidane, Thierry Henry was coming on to the scene, Trezeguet, Deschamps, Desailly, Thuram, Lizarazu, LeBlanc. Hey, man. Not sure who. Yeah, it was Dow, man, the Oregon Gooner. The Oregon Goon. Big him up every single time. Sheldon, at the time, we had a real captain in the squad in Kieran Tierney, but Arteta wanted more control. Plus, Kieran Tierney wasn't his signing, right? That's part of when you take over a club or you take over any organization as a leader, what you kind of want to do is establish dominance. Right? I've seen people take over organization in my line of work where the unit was flowing well and everything was efficient, but to let people know that there was someone else in charge, they had to do something, right? I don't give a fuck. They moved the furniture around, they rearranged the motor pool, they paint the walls. Something has to be different. Hey, this is my imprint. I'm here now. I'm in charge. So I'm in charge. I didn't sign Tierney. Odegaard is my guy. He's gonna be my captain. And they voted for him. Yeah, everybody voted for you. They liked him. It's cool. They liked him. So it's one of them ones. Big up. Hope you are good. Yeah, man. Big up to Dow. Absolute legend of a guy. Big up to SB from the catch up. Hope you're good, bro. Hope to catch up with you, man, later on the domestics. I shall be there. You send me the invite, I'm there, my bro. Manners and respect to you every single time, brother. Love. Yes, when he revealed to the point, let's be real, Gabriel Magalhaes was only in the squad. Saliba was back from loan. Kieran Tierney was there, and no reason Arteta gave Odegaard the band. Captain Norway. How much will this manager contract be worth? He's already overpaid. That's another thing, right? So we have to keep the receipts, right? We cannot hear. There might be the silver lining in this contract extension talks, if it's even true, because I haven't seen it. It was damn. Boy 10 came in here yesterday with that energy and ruined the damn mood. But if it's true, we know that there's money there, right? We know that the club has money. You can't be giving out bumper contracts and then say January comes and there's a void for the left wing, which I think there is still. And then you're saying that we don't have money when you're paying man extra. No. Hell with that. There has to be money. We get what we get. When Xhaka is the better captain, arguably over Odegaard, that says everything you need to know. And that's the thing, where Xhaka is a leader. And that's what you want your captain to be. He doesn't have to be your best player. Right? Fernandinho was never the best player at Man City, but he is the leader. Right? And Kevin De Bruyne was their best player. And they put the captain armband on it. You can tell he wasn't really captain. He was their best player. Now, Rodri is their best player now. Is he captain? Who captains Man City now? I think Kyle Walker wore the armband a couple of times. Yeah, but it doesn't have to be. Like the Aubameyang thing was a circus in and of itself. Because at the time around the club when they took it off Xhaka, the only player that the fans would accept and the fans liked, and the only player that was worth a damn was Alba. But he wasn't a leader, best player, but he wasn't a leader. That's why everyone is saying that it should be Declan Rice or it should be Gabriel Magalhaes right now, because they're leaders. It's not very hard to spot. You see a leader, you know one when you see one. If he gets that deal, I'm hearing £21 million a year. That's more than Pep. That is more than Pep. And I'm sure Sheikh Mansour is not offering Pep a 6-year extension. In 6 years, Pep won't be at Man City. And he has turned that man into a winning machine. I could not hear that. I would give Deckers the armband to relieve the pressure of Odegaard. Gabriel as captain. And you know what, Kwaja? I think in this capacity, you will see even a better Odegaard. Because then he won't have any pressure. He'll just play football, which I think he will actually thrive. He's on the pitch with Eze. The sole creative burden is not on him. So now he can do all the flicks, all the tricks, all the reverse disguised back passes. It will look beautiful. So he doesn't have the pressure to lead or the pressure to create. Just play ball. The pressure to lead is on Gabriel. Declan is on the pitch. Okay, cool. The pressure to create is on Eze. It's on Saka, and you're there to play ball and just play. I think he would actually clip. I think he would actually cook. Sheldon said Arteta couldn't give an underperforming Magalhaes the band. Xhaka was already stripped. Kieran wasn't in the team, and hence it ended up with Aubameyang. And just to confirm, at the moment, Xhaka told us all to fuck off, and I wanted him sacked. But my points. So Xhaka has released a statement saying that he was misunderstood. That entire thing, I didn't read it, but you're scrolling through the headlines, and they have the picture of him taking off the shirt, and it said that he was misunderstood. But I don't know. PR must PR, and he kind of walked that back however he did, because he was welcomed back into the team. And whenever Sunderland turns up at the Emirates, best believe he is going to get the ovation of the ages. I think that game we're winning comfortably, or however that game is going. If Sunderland is not in the game, you will see Granit Xhaka subbed off so he can get another big roar round of applause at the Emirates. That's what we do, right? We like Arsenal likes PR and feel good stories and stuff like that. So it's one of them ones. But yo, people, an hour and 20 minutes with you lovely folks today. I don't feel entitled to your time, so I appreciate it when you do give it to me. I don't feel entitled to your comments, your opinions, and your thoughts, but I feel privileged when you share them with me. Absolute legends that you are. We also short a left 8 in the Arsenal squad like Swiss cheese, just everyone covering different positions. No real specialist in any position. That's true. Sheldon, I fully believe take the captain away, Odegaard gets better, but as a captain, he will never be good enough. Simple as that. AJ said what he said. But yes, people, I'm gonna end it there. Absolute legends that you are. Again, thank you for your thoughts and your time. What he says. Got to treat Odegaard like a quarterback. Do everything you can to protect him so he can just play ball. One of those predictions should be moving the armband to someone else. Big up, man. Big up to the legend. That's Darren said. You deserve time and comments, bro. Quality content. You're far too kind, my brother. Far too kind. But yeah, people, I might be on the catch up. I don't know if SB sent me the link. Might be on the catch up later for the domestics. On the Bruce Banana with Shane tomorrow, and the Waffle Down on Friday. So that's what's coming down the pipe. If Santi had the captain the last 3 years, at least one of these leagues in the air. Fair enough. Big up to Dal, MVP of the stream, Dal. You are the MVP of this stream. Love. I can always say, people, take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time. I said BB Harmony and shit. Until next time, we are gone. BB Harmony.